Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. On this week's episode, I'm going to talk about staying humble and, well, you should stack sats. But yeah, and I mean, I don't know, I'll just get into a bunch of different things. And also I have the premiere of Unsinkable, a film that I produced about the Titanic. It's premiering in Pittsburgh on Wednesday, so that should be pretty fun. Um, and I'll share that stuff if there's, I don't know if there's stuff about it to share. I don't know. I will share it and we will put it out there. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty fun day. And then the Movies Plus is always chugging ahead. We're working on some stuff, so I think there's some things to talk about there. But first and foremost, you should get a Bitbox O2 hardware wallet. Go to bitbox.swiss/Bitcoin Made Simple and use the promo code Bitcoin Made Simple, all one word. You get 5% off. Get your coins off the exchange. Do not, I repeat, do not keep them on the exchange, because a little bit of news, but I saw I didn't even go super in depth into it, but that Vijay Boyapati, I believe his name is, the one who called for like $1 million Bitcoin in 90 days back in the spring. He was posting a breakdown of the grayscale GBTC offering and kind of how that alleged fraud has all gone down. And it just goes to show you that it makes SBF and the FTX debacle look like it's not like a child's play. So yeah, get your coins off the exchange. And again, do that with the Bitbox O2 hardware wallet. This weekend, I got to go to a comedy show. A friend of mine, Joe Bartnick, he is a comedian. You can actually see his special. It's on YouTube, on the All Things Comedy channel. It's called Joe Bartnick: A Killing in Chicago, and it is pretty damn funny. So check that out. But anyways, it was good to see Joe. He was in town this weekend. Did a show at a place called Low Lev Brewery, which is a really cool place to check out. I guess they're new at doing shows. It was like a brewery, and then like the show area, like the stage was kind of back behind the brewery and bar area, and it was kind of like cool. It had like the rustic industrial feel. You could see the tanks of the brewery, and so I did exchange info with the guy there that runs the place, because I said we should live stream some open mic nights or something on the Movies Plus. And he was all for it. So, yeah, but got to do that. And I'll tell you this, going out with comedians, like I consider myself a funny person. And I also consider myself like pretty quick-witted for the most part. But man, when you go out with comedians, it's just boom, ba boom, ba boom. You can tell they are professionals. They know what they're doing, and they will turn everything and anything that they can into something that can be a joke. So good time. And my brother-in-law came out with us, so that was good for me and him to get to hang. And yeah, it was just a good time. Although I burnt the candle at both ends a little bit that day, and I paid for it, so I was pretty tired. But yeah, so getting into the main thing I wanted to talk about. The staying humble and stacking of the sat. You hear that phrase all the time, but it hit me this weekend. So I know some of you are religious, some of you aren't. You can do whatever you want to do. But I'm going to bring up, I was at church on Sunday, and the gospel was, I thought, rather pertinent. So I'll just read it. Oh, I'm not religious. I don't want to hear it. I mean, I think it's just a good lesson. So you should probably just go with that. My show. I'll deal with. I'll say what I want to say, and it'll come out. So, anyways, just I'm gonna read it and then give you my thoughts on it and kind of how it plays into this Bitcoin mindset. But just a general mindset. Okay. So Jesus spoke to the crowds and to his disciples, saying, "The scribes and the Pharisees have taken their seat on the chair of Moses. Therefore, do and observe all things whatsoever they tell you. But do not follow their example, for they preach, but they do not practice. They tie up heavy burdens, hard to carry, and lay them on people's shoulders. But they will not lift a finger to move them. All their works are performed to be seen. They widen their oh boy, I don't know if I know this word. Phylacteries and lengthen their tassels. They love places of honor at banquets. Phylacteries. Philasteries. I think that would be the stuff, like they widen their, like the stuff that they wear. And lengthen their tassels. They love places of honor at banquets, seats of honor in synagogues, greetings in marketplaces, and the salutation, Rabbi. As for you, do not be called Rabbi. You have but one teacher, and you are all brothers. Call no one on earth your father. You have but one Father in heaven. Do not be called master. You have but one master, the Christ. All right, so here's the part that really struck a chord with me. And you guys might know this one. But it finishes by saying, the greatest among you must be your servant. Whoever exalts himself will be humbled, but whoever humbles himself will be exalted. So I just, listening to that, and I'm like, wow. I mean, I've said it a million times before. I know others have as well, but, Jesus would be a Bitcoiner. I was talking about, so if you're not familiar, but like the high priests of the time would usually be the wealthiest people, and they would decorate themselves in, all these garments and these great garments, and enjoy big feasts and all that kind of stuff. I know what you're thinking. Corey, the Catholic Church does it too. Believe me, I know, and that really bothers me. In fact, in the little, I think they call it missalette that the readings are in the pews, they have a little reflection each week, and this week's reflection was I don't know, some of this stuff seems like stuff we do in the Catholic Church that doesn't really jive, So, the exalting, if you exalt yourself, you'll be humbled. You humble yourself, you will be exalted. So we see in the Bitcoin space, a lot of people rush in, and we are geniuses the moment it all makes sense to us. We are so smart, and we can't wait to tell everybody how smart we are. And there's nothing wrong with sharing the information with people, but I guess wanting praise for how smart you are and being a Bitcoiner, you'll quickly find out that you will be humbled. But if you stay humble and just stack sats, hang out, do your thing, you will be exalted and rewarded. That goes for multiple things in life. It's just not a Bitcoin angle. It really, really bothers me. I hate decadence. I'm really uncomfortable with anything that says oh, look at me. I mean, I've told this story before about the car I own, the Land Rover, and part of me wants to put it because I really eked out a great deal, and I got it for less than what you'd get an average SUV. It's because I went in on New Year's Eve, end of the month, end of the quarter, end of the year. Turns out they're willing to do great deals in car dealerships to meet quotas. um, especially when all three quotas hit at the same time. So I did not. Yeah. So, anyways, at any time, I just almost want to put like a sign on the back, like, "I got this for a really good deal. I'm not pretentious." Blah blah blah. I don't know. But that's also a way that I've changed because, I mean, I like the car and it's a good car, and I'm not going to get a new one. But back in, I don't know, 2018 or whatever it was that I got it, part of me probably thought that was a status symbol. Like, oh, I mean, I legit remember having the thought, like, being a business owner, people are always asking how business is going, and you're like, sometimes you just don't want to answer that question. And it was like, I remember thinking, like, well, if I have a Land Rover, people aren't going to ask me how business is going. What a shallow thought that is. That is really, really shallow. Really embarrassing to think back on it. Yeah, so I don't know, but then there's people like want to be people that want to be influencers in this Bitcoin space, and that's not they're not really being humble. I'll just to be honest, there's a bunch of them, but probably the person that exemplifies this the best as far as being humble in the Bitcoin space would be somebody like Preston Pish. Just somebody that could tout their laurels and rub it in everyone's face how well they're doing or how seem to be doing, or all his success, all his his podcast, his books, his military experience, his investing, and blah 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 blah. Huge Twitter following that I've seen that go to people's heads before. And yeah, no, he stays pretty darn humble. But the people that stay closer to the core of Bitcoin tend to be humbler, in my opinion. In my humble opinion, man, I missed the opportunity to just roll right into that one. Perfect. What are you doing? And I claimed earlier that I was quick-witted. So yeah, you are going to get humbled, and we've seen a lot of people that they come flying in, and they just want to be an influencer in Bitcoin, and they want everyone to be like praising them and lifting them up and retweeting them and all that kind of stuff. And if you are in it for that reason, then you're in it for the wrong reasons. I'll tell you the right reasons to be in it for. Let me see if I can Google this real quick. Bitcoin found my moon. I remember this post. There. Found my moon. Maybe it was on Reddit. God, I can't. This is gonna be, sorry for the boring Googling radio. Let me see if I sold Bitcoin for house with kid moon Reddit. Sold Bitcoin for house. He's my moon Reddit. Let's see. I can't find it. All right. So I'm not going to be able to find it. I apologize. That was a boring podcast. But if you've seen this before, it was somebody that had a story that they shared on Reddit. I don't even remember when it was. but they were an early adopter to Bitcoin. I want to say they were somewhere in like Switzerland or somewhere in there. Um, and they had stacked a lot of Bitcoin, obviously appreciated in price. And they came on and they said, get a BitBox02 hardware wallet. Go to bitbox.swiss/Bitcoin made simple to get use promo code Bitcoin made simple to get 5% off. That's what they said. But really, what they said was that they had sold their Bitcoin. I don't know if it was all of their Bitcoin. And said, I know that the price is probably going to go higher and people are probably going to kill me for this, blah, blah, blah. But during the period of time that they had Bitcoin, they had, I think, gotten married and then had a kid, but then got divorced, if I remember correctly. I might be misquoting this, so I apologize if I am. But the moral of the story was, he said, I can sell my Bitcoin and have a house, a nice house in a private place, and not have to worry about working, and can spend time with my son. And it said something like, he's my moon, or something like, I was waiting for the price. I know the price of Bitcoin, we're all waiting for it to moon, but he's my moon and I've found it. Thanks for everything, Bitcoin, something like that. Man, does that not hit like a ton of bricks? You're just, whoa, that's a truth bomb if you've ever heard one. So yeah, it's like find your moon. And you do that, so find your moon and make it something that's real. If what you're trying to attain is being exalted by others and getting praised by others and all those other things and other people's acceptance, it will leave you feeling empty. You'll never find that moon. That moon will not exist. So you got to stay true to yourself. Stay true to what you want. What is important to you, what's fun to you, what's, things like that. I mean, even me, like, you follow me on Twitter, I'm sure, if you, listen to the show. I mean, I don't even know how many Twitter followers I have, but, like I remember I started talking about Bitcoin, all these different things. And then next thing I know, I'm like up to like 1,000 followers. And then, really quickly went to like 3,000. And I was like, whoa, like, oh, look at me. I guess I'm becoming an influencer. And then, bear market happens, it plateaus. I realize that that's not really that important. And then simultaneously, I'm like, well, I have these other things in my life that I'm interested in. And I never tweet about them because I mainly have Bitcoiners that follow me, and, it's going to be off brand or, some kind of like bullshit like that. And then, if you follow me lately for probably like the last year, you probably see that I'm talking about Bitcoin, but I'm also talking about movies and I'm talking about sports, particularly the Pittsburgh sports. And, like at first I was like, I can't do that. Like Bitcoiners, they don't want to hear that stuff. And then I'm like, well, I'm being me. Like that's who I am. Like that is me. I love sports. I do. Love to play them, love to watch them. It's just it's a big part of who I am. I mean, I'm 37 years old. I still consider myself a hockey player, even though I last competitively played when I was 23 in college. And somehow, I mean, that just blows my mind. And yeah, it's something that'll never, if it's part of who you are. So I guess my point of bringing that up is like, don't lose who you are. And if you're chasing, if my end goal was to be a Bitcoin influencer and, just get all this praise and accolades and everything from the Bitcoin community, that would be a fruitless journey. I would never get, you're never going to get what you're desiring if that's your goal. If your moon is to get the praise and adoration of others, it'll never be enough. I even like kind of actively to this point am like weary about like, ooh, it's almost like, it's like you don't want to become like addicted to something. I'm not saying like a drug, but just like anything, so you're like, if I expose myself to this, is it going to be something like, ooh, I want that again. I want that rush of dopamine. For example, my movie is premiering on Wednesday. It's called Unsinkable. I think there will be a red carpet of sorts. And I'll go. I'm going to enjoy it. It'll be cool to see the movie on the big screen with a group of people. I mean, I've seen it on the big screen for like filmmaking purposes, but with a group of people, it'll be really cool. Hang out with some of the people that, helped this process get made and, pushed it along. And yeah, but like, I don't know, walking down the red carpet, if I do that and I just like soak in this like attention, not that I'm getting attention, but like, I'm sure I could soak some kind of attention in, I'm sure local news will be there or whatever. And it's like, if I run with that, then I don't know. That's just you're just chasing something that'll never satisfy you. So you just got to stay humble. You got to stay within yourself. And like, God, I wish I could clue you guys in on like some of the like business conversations I'm having in like the Bitcoin space. But it's like really exciting to hear. The people that I'm talking to are great people. And you're just like, it was said on a call today, like, the bear market, like this is the absolute best time to be building things. Instead of trying to, chase clout or whatever, it's like, just like stack away, build the things you want. Like, that's why I want to get so much Bitcoin mining going, because it's like, build the things that you can build to just push this into, like push yourself into a better position, and you stay humble and you just focus on that, focus on what's important to you, and then you will be exalted. So that goes for everything in life, but just in particular with Bitcoin, it's like, yeah, stay humble and you will reap the benefits in due time. If you're trying to get immediate reward, then Bitcoin is not the game for you, and you're in it for the wrong reasons. So that's all I got for today. Hope that helps you gain perspective that, I don't know, helps you in your Bitcoin journey. And I hope you get a Bitbox O2 hardware wallet. Go to bitbox.swiss/Bitcoin Made Simple and use the promo code Bitcoin Made Simple to get 5% off. And I will talk to you guys later.